One.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Councilmember Tyrone Johnson, Chair of the Community Development Committee, calling to order the August 5th, 2025 Community Development Committee. We currently have with us today is Councilwoman Amanda Cook and Councilmember Tim Andrew, and of course myself, Tyrone Johnson. And so we'll go ahead and call it to order. We do not have Councilwoman Vicky McKeever as of yet. So on 2025-337, the community and school garden update, we will need to pull this. If everybody's in agreement with this.
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. So we will pull, once again, 2025-337, the community and school garden update. So we'll move on to the next one, 2025-338, which is the local code annual strategic plan update. And this will be done by Ms. Parrish, the code enforcement manager. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Hope everybody is doing well. So for the month of June, for public nuisance cases, we had a total of 250 cases. 124 of those cases were city initiated, 126 were citizen complaints. For our zoning cases, the total is 41. The city initiated 20 of those cases, with citizens initiating 21 of those cases. For minimum housing cases, there was a total of 25, 8 of those cases being city initiated and 17 of those being citizen complaints. So 1018 Asheboro is a repair or demolish case that we started in February of 2023. The complaint and notice of hearing was held February 6, 2023, and the order to repair or demolish was issued on February 6, 2023, with a compliance due date of March 6, 2023. The certificate of occupancy was issued on April 4th, 2025. So the following pictures I'm about to show you is a house that has been repaired, and the property owner actually turned around and sold the property, and someone's actively living there now. So this was before, this was the front of the property, and as you can see, the roof looks brand new, but the exterior of the home has some severe conditions that allowed us to obtain a warrant and go inside the home. For example, the siding was falling off, and foundation issues, some structural issues with the windows. As you can see, siding falling off again. The exterior of the property hasn't been painted in several years. And then this is the back of the property where you can see the siding coming off, some issues there with the fascia and the soffit. And this was after. Put up new vinyl siding, brand new windows. They actually went inside the home and did a complete remodel. Previously, the home was gutted, but now has all the fixtures, sheetrock, looks very nice. Anybody have any questions?
Council manager, does it normally have, there seem to be quite a gap from the order till the certificate of occupancy. Is that just their construction time?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. In this instance, so some of these cases, the property owner actually got on this case really, really fast, obtaining his residential construction permit. Typically, if there is a, let's say, 2-year period of time, it could be that the property owner has sold the property on several occasions. Like this next case I'm fixing to show you all, that was sold on a couple of occasions before they were able to move forward and potentially obtaining an RC permit.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Johnson, Tyrone Johnson. Is this owner occupied?
No, sir, it's not. He sold it.
He didn't, okay. Beautiful. I mean, we love stories like this, and then look at the outcome. Very, very beautiful. Any other questions or comments? Great. We'll move on to the next one. 2025-339, consideration of demolition ordinance at 115 Briggs Place. And we'll,
So 115 Briggs Place was field inspector initiated, and the reasonable cause on the exterior of the property is a fire had started at the home. Obviously, it was put out, but the right side of the home, there was a giant hole, and you can see that there was several fire damage, structural issues inside the home. So after the inspection, the complaint notice of hearing was held on July 3rd, 2023. The order to repair or demolish was issued on July 31st, 2023, with a compliance due date of August 31st, 2023. The property was sold to a new property owner in January 21st, 2025. So as of today, the new owner has applied for a residential construction permit, but it is sitting at permit incomplete. He needs to come in and add contractors to this permit. Now, as for the gap of time from the compliance due date to today, this property was actually sold twice. So the first property owner actually came in and tried to get an RC permit, but it sat for so long that the RC permit expired. I will say he did do some exterior work, nothing crazy, nothing major. It was more or less he patched up the hole that was on the right side of the house. This is the site map. So this is the front of the property as of 2 weeks ago. And, you know, clearly there's still some issues as far as the roof system. The entire interior of the property is gutted. In order to make repairs to the home, he would have to come in and get a GC and add it to his permit for the permit to be issued. Because extensive wiring, electrical issues, he would have to install a whole new HVAC unit and plumbing throughout the entire home as well. That should not have been. And then, as you can see in this picture, the roof, there is currently no tarp on the roof, so as it continues to rain, the home is going to just become more and more damaged as we go through. This is the back side of the home. It does appear there are some new windows as of right now, but not the entire home has new windows, so there are some openings on this property at this point in time. And then, of course, we always want to work with the property owner, and I have been in contact with the property owner, and he wants to make the full extent of repairs. Our ultimate end goal is compliance, and we want to have somebody live there safely. So if anybody has any questions in reference to this.
This is a consideration for demolition just because we haven't met the previous repair process. So if he wants to repair, what would be his timeline to be able to do that?
So we would fill out a form called an acknowledgement of time, and essentially he signs a contract stating, hey, I'm going to meet these deadlines that he will provide himself. And what we'll do is we'll continue to follow up with the deadlines he had provided on his, on the form. And if he's not meeting those deadlines at the end of the end date that he puts on, we would want to be able to, you know, enforce the demolition ordinance if he had not met those deadlines.
Councilman Johnson here. So when was the last time we spoke with the owner?
We spoke with him last week.
And speaking with him, when is he coming in to take care of that?
So we spoke with him July 31st. He came in August 1st and obtained his permit. We have not spoke since, but he has received an email from Planning and Development to come in and correct his permit so he can get the permit issued and move forward with repairs.
So even, just question, even if we approved this, as we have in the past, they would still have time to come to get everything in order before it moved any further.
Yes.
Am I correct?
We would, as long as we see reasonable progress and a reasonable attempt to come in and obtain the permit and start making repairs, we would work with them, yes.
Okay. And just for informational purposes, when did he become the owner?
January 21st of 2025.
Okay, so he just became the owner. Okay. Okay. Any other questions from any of us up here? Okay.
So at this time, I would move to,
I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I wanted to ask if anyone is here to speak regarding this item. I do not see anyone, so now I will now over you.
Now, I'll move to approve the ordinance to demolish the dwelling located at 115 Briggs Place and authorize the appropriate city officials to execute all necessary documents.
So I could get a second?
I'll second.
Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposers? Great. It's anonymous. We will proceed with that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank
And
you
the
for your
next
time.
one is 2025-340. Consideration of an exception to the City of High Point Conflict of Interest Policy. And this will be done by Ms. Nina Wilson, our Community Development and Housing Director. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. We are asking for authorization to consider looking at drawing up or drafting an exception to the conflict of interest policy that the city currently has. City employees frequently inquire about receiving assistance such as down payment assistance, homeowner repairs, or participating in affordable housing development programs. However, under the city's current conflict of interest policy, no city employee can receive any personal or private economic benefit resulting from activities carried out by the city. And provided in your packet, you do have the current City of High Point conflict of interest policy that was adopted in March of 1999. And we also have provided in the attachments the federal regulations found under the Community Development Block Grant Program. They're at 570.611, conflict of interest. And it does provide a process whereby if federal funds are used that we can request an exception to the conflict of interest. We just have to get approval. Once we follow that process, it can be approved by HUD. We just have to move through that process if federal funds are used. And so what we have done is I reached out to, of course, our neighbors, reached out to the city of Greensboro, and they have a specific program called the Public Service Heroes Homebuyer Assistance Program. And this specifically includes municipal employees as eligible participants. One of the things that you'll find for each of the units of government is that anyone that receives assistance, they cannot be in the decision-making process, nor can they have, I guess you would say, any direct hands-on, throughout that whole approval process. And you will also find that they are using, if federal funds are used, that they are using that exception to the conflict of interest policy if federal funds are used. So Winston-Salem, the city of Winston-Salem, they actually have a third party that administers their program, but again, it's the same. Anyone that's related to, within the decision-making process has to recuse themselves. They can't receive any funds at closing, and they have to disclose the nature of the relationship to the third-party organization or the funding agency. Also reached out to the city of Gastonia just because I worked there for many years and have still have some contacts there. And the general practice is that employees can participate in their down payment assistance and home repair programs without exception. The only exception are family members of employees or elected officials with direct program management or decision-making duties. And then, of course, they would follow those federal regulations for approval. And again, I've included that citation for the exception to the conflict of interest provisions. And we have had inquiries from other council members, and we've sort of discussed this, with the legal department and the management team over several years, just trying to really get some movement, just because we do have, it seems like here recently, we've gotten a few more requests than normal. And so just kind of wanted to see if we could get the ball rolling if council, is so inclined to actually, I won't say agree, but maybe actually want to see city employees be able to participate specifically in community development programs, that we can be authorized to work with the appropriate staff and with the legal department to actually draft a policy or an exceptions policy.
Awesome. Councilmember Johnson, question, just for those that are listening, what is High Point's current policy?
Our current policy is that no city employee, relatives, or anyone that is associated with the city of High Point, they cannot participate in any of our programs. And that's across the board for any benefits from the city.
And that was adopted back in 1999? Okay. All right, perfect. Any questions?
Ms. Councilman Andrew, it seems that it's sort of in compliance with 24 CFR 570.611D. The thing that I'm open to changing it, but paragraph 2II, whether it says whether an opportunity was provided for open competitive bidding or negotiation, my concern is that if a city employee, we want to make sure that they don't have an inside track on knowledge of this program is available above the public. That would be my only concern, but in general, I'm leaning toward changing it, but I just want the perception that they're getting it because they know people in the city and they know how to get it faster, this, that, and the other. As long as a city employee is not gaining an advantage over someone else for these programs, then I'm not sure how we would administer that, but that would be my only concern.
One of the things, I guess maybe what I'll maybe distinguish here is that not necessarily to bid on any of our projects or anything like this. This is just, say, if a homeowner needs home repairs and they happen to be a city employee, or someone's mother needs homeowner repairs, that they would be able to go through a process to actually have that approved. Right. Also with the down payment assistance, our programs are available to High Point residents. So anyone that is interested in purchasing a home, anyone that needs home repairs. And because of the affordable housing, the crisis as far as housing, we have had some inquiries from some of the city employees that possibly own property and maybe want to build a duplex or something along those lines to provide some rental housing. And so they just haven't been able to participate in any of those programs. But any program that we are sort of talking about here, they're open to all High Point residents.
So question, our decision point today is to either approve or approve this to the rest of the council for a vote later on, is that correct?
Right, recommend that we go through the process of working on a policy, drafting a policy that would ultimately, hopefully be approved.
Right, so this would just, step one is getting out of this committee, step two is the rest of the council approving it, and then step three is to actually change the verbiage of the policy so that.
So I think you could probably, decide how you want to make the motion. So one motion is you could direct staff to go and draft a policy. So you don't have a revised policy or, any specifics in front of you. I think staff's just looking for the authorization to go and work on that and bring it back. So in my mind, you could either direct staff to do that and have it come back to community development, Or, I guess you could have it go all the way through to council. I don't necessarily think you need the authority to have council say, please go and look into us. Lots of times, stuff comes before committees, and you just direct staff to go do further work on it, and then it would come back here, if that's a process that management's interested in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if,
So it would be kind of, the motion would be to direct staff to prepare a revised policy for review to come back to community development. And then if that looks good, then that would be recommended to go on to the full council for approval.
I'm in favor of that. I think it's a good idea for staff to develop a new procedure, and then we can look at it and move forward, because, again, I'm in favor of the city employees being able to participate in this. I just want to make sure that there are safeguards so that there's not a public image that, they have an advantage over someone else.
And I'll say, I'm always proud to say that I participated in the down payment assistance program through the city when I moved to High Point, and it helped me to live in the neighborhood that I needed to live in and have a really nice house, and I couldn't have done that without the city's assistance. And I would love to think that children of employees, parents of employees, and employees themselves would have the same access to be able to live in High Point, close to work, and benefit from all of the programs that we have here that are beneficial.
I would concur that, Councilmember Johnson, that yes, I, like Councilwoman Cook, I think it's a good thing for our employees, city employees, to be able to participate with this currently, because they cannot at all. But my question is, and I agree with Councilmember Andrew about perhaps us directing staff to consult the wording or the verbiage. Were we trying to do what was very similar to Winston, where it's a third party? Have we made it that far yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. We have not actually decided, but we have a contract that is being executed with Housing Consultants Group. So they will be actually doing administering our down payment assistance program. So it could very well be administered by a third party, since that's what they're currently, that was approved a few weeks ago, for them to administer
And
the
the down
program.
payment assistance is not based on a certain house or list of houses that are released. That's just a general application that people complete as part of their whole mortgage application process.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Deputy City Manager Greg Ferguson, I think this is an appropriate time to also ask if the committee would like the department to go back and look at the down payment assistance amount as it currently stands. There's been some discussion in our office and with the department about some of our neighbors who have made adjustments as housing prices have gone up and construction prices have gone up. So I don't want to tie the two together, but it would be a time to consider whether the committee would like the department to do that and come back with a recommendation.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, can you remind us what the amounts are right now?
Yes, currently it's $7,500. And that's under both just the citywide program as well as the core city incentive.
And some of the adjacent cities have adjusted theirs up recently. There are some news articles that we could share with you for context.
And I have gotten feedback from some lenders that when I've inquired as to maybe why they're not using our program as much, and that is one of the things that they, have commented on, is just the amount, if we could do more. But of course, we have to work within what we have budgeted, but certainly, so, just providing additional funds or more, I think would be favorable.
So, Madam Attorney, so how would we put that? Because I know they're two different things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly two different things, but you could direct staff to look at, the down payment assistance program and the ability for city staff to participate in both that program and what's the other program called?
The housing repair.
Housing
home
repair program, right. So I think it sounds like, what staff is looking for is that the direction that the committee is interested in moving forward with this, which it sounds like you are. So then really just to direct staff to take a deeper dive into it and then to come back to you with both information about the down payment assistance program as well as the ability for city staff to participate in the two programs.
As well as the conflict of interest. That,
Right, being able to participate in it would mean that we would have to revise the conflict of interest policy. So for background, the General Assembly came out with a law, around the late 90s that essentially every council had to adopt a conflict of interest policy. So that is a document that's been around again since 1999 that has just, by law, you have to have a conflict of interest policy. So certainly 26 years later, that might be something that we want to make sure is, refreshed and has any language in it that you want, like carve-outs for things like this, so.
okay. Any other questions? So I would like to make a motion that we direct staff to take a deeper dive into our down payment assistance program, as well as our housing repair program, which of course would affect our, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the High Point conflict of interest policy, as well, taking a deeper dive into that, what that would look like, and then bring it back to this committee. If I could get a second.
Second.
Great. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Great. The ayes have it. That is
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And that is all I have. We do have quick announcement, of course. Any announcements before I give them out? We probably got the same ones, but go ahead.
National Night Out.
We all got it. National Night Out is tonight. Even rain or shine, I believe it's raining now, but hey, still go out. Still go out, still go out. Again, if your ward is not having anything, go to another ward, okay? We all are High Pointers, so definitely go out tonight, enjoy each other,
And I
and enjoy the
think the police
festivities.
department put an updated list of the ones that are not canceled, if people want to make sure.
Yeah, check your
We happen to have
email,
that list.
because there's been 3 revisions this afternoon, so.
Okay,
Okay, and the city will post on the social media as well.
all right. Amanda Cook, Councilwoman Cook said, please check our social media just in case for any updates, any cancellations, things of that nature. So again, National Night Out tonight. So that's it. That's all I have. So we are done. Thank you so much. Have a good day.